Te Whare Roimata Trust, Jamie Stevenson. And Jenny Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. We thank you for this opportunity of speaking. Our submission is in two parts. We don't have a presentation. We might, if you're lucky, do a song and dance act together if we had to. So hopefully, here we go. We're here really to talk just briefly to some of the things in the proposed long-term plan, but more particularly to talk about some of the proposals which are starting to take shape in the council-supported community-led revitalisation plan of the Inner City East, which Jamie, my colleague, will talk some more about. But we want to begin by saying that we acknowledge and recognise the difficult context that you are working in and being able to develop the long-term plan, especially as you seek to try and get a balance between the post-quake recovery and regeneration while maintaining your services and planning for growth, which is set against the need for financial prudence as well as the challenges that are faced by climate change and the need for asset renewal. So quickly, our key points are: we support the need to explore alternate funding sources to finance the work that's needed being done, and we acknowledge that that includes subsidies, collaboration and joint ventures, which you Mia have indicated, and other ways of raising venue, but in a way that recognises growing hardship and the need to keep rates affordable. We also particularly encourage you to secure a fairer, more just cost-share agreement with central government when this comes up for renewal later this year, and particularly renegotiation. We particularly refer to the Metro Sports Facility and the multi-use arena, given the huge capital outlay for these projects. We believe that the water and its related infrastructure needs to be given high priority, and that wastewater needs to be equally prioritised alongside having safe drinking water, flood protection work and the necessary stormwater infrastructure. We also encourage considering imposing consequences for non-compliance. We very much support the proposed transport strategy and the need to shift the emphasis away from roads and motorways to accommodate the residential expansion of the city outskirts. And we particularly encourage to think about incentive to see work opportunities being created closer to where people are living. We acknowledge your long-standing commitment to social housing and would strongly urge you to actively work towards returning your rental housing stock to pre-quake levels. We recognise that this is going to require you to reprioritise the community facilities program so that projects such as the multi-use arena and the new Brighton hot pools and your smart cities innovation programs may be given a lower priority rating. And coming from an area which is awash with alcohol outlets in a marginalised area, we strongly support CIAD's call to put an additional special rating on bottle stores and other off licences in order to increase the cost of cheap alcohol while mitigating the cost of alcohol harm. I'm now going to hand over to Jamie to lead the revitalisation stuff.
Thank you, and thank you again to the Council. So since the Council resolution last year to support the community-led revitalisation plan process, Te Whare Roimata and Council staff have been working together with the community to identify and prioritise the hopes, strengths and concerns of the Inner City East and Lynwood area. While this process has not yet reached the point of yielding a list of actions, a number of themes have emerged of issues that the community would like to see responses to, and some of these are issues that were relevant even before the earthquakes. So we are, however, aware that after this round of long-term planning, it will be harder to allocate council funds to these sort of initiatives. So we've proposed a range of actions that come out of these community conversations, so we feel confident that they will have widespread support in the community. The first of these is improvements to Doris Less Reserve, which has been identified by many as an important community gathering place, but has also been identified over time by locals as being nondescript, and a strong connection has been made between clarifying the purpose of the park and maintaining it as a safe place. The second proposal is a review of the design of the Inner City East Lynwood leg of the Rapanui Shag Rock Cycleway. Many locals have had concerns about the design of the cycleway, especially as it concerns safety and the effect on businesses, particularly in Stanmore Road and Worcester Street, in an area that's still recovering from the earthquakes. The third is an inorganic rubbish collection scheme for the area. Rubbish has been a strongly identified concern amongst a cross-section of the community, and with a unique makeup of the area with about 75 to 80% renters, many on low incomes, large rubbish is of particular concern. So we would support a scheme being piloted as a community-based pre-employment program in the inner city East Lynwood. The fourth is a review of residential planning guidelines for the area. Some residents have talked about preserving the unique character, traditions, and amenity of the area, while others talk about the negative consequences of intensification of housing. We are aware that these guidelines fall under the district plan, and we would support a return of district planning powers to the Christchurch City Council. At such time, we would support a review of guidelines to make sure that rules in place protect what's important to our community. The final proposal is the purchase of land for a community hub. Many community members have talked about missing access to lost services and essential shops, such as chemists, banks, and greengrocers. We are aware that the market hasn't provided replacements to these in the past 7 years, and that high rents can make it difficult for new businesses to start up, particularly in an area serving a low-income population. So we're proposing a community hub, one that meets local needs and enables a return of services in a viable way. A place to act as an incubator for new businesses and to develop the neighborhood economy through such initiatives as neighborhood co-ops and social enterprises. We see this as a place to fulfill community hopes for more places to gather and spend time together, and places to build on and sustain existing community initiatives that people really value. So in closing, we see these proposals as a start to addressing community hopes that have come out of the revitalization plan process at this stage, and we also see ample opportunities for community to play a key role in shaping the implementation of these. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, look, there's so many people in 3 minutes, so we'll start with Dion.
Thanks for the presentation, and thanks for the work you're doing on the revitalisation strategy for Lynwood Village. Do you have any idea when we may see some of those action points that you were talking about?
It's kind of, as you are aware, Councillor Sleggs, we are in the process of moving to the stage of getting the working group established, and members have been selected for that. And that group will now be, that's a period of between now and towards the end of the year as these ideas are formulated. And we're interested to hear that Little River has taken 4 years to get to this. So we're not even a year underway yet. And, but it's been very important to engage the local members and bring them on board, particularly given it's a marginalised area and people don't often participate or feel the ability to be able to be engaged. So
cool. And just one other thing, in your written submission you talk about supporting the regional, say a local fuel tax. I mean, that's a regressive tax and it'll obviously impact on lower socio-economic communities. They can't afford fuel efficient vehicles and stuff like that. So do you think there's any other ways we can sort of look at that rather than a regressive tax that'll hurt more?
I guess one of the things is that so many in the area don't own cars and use public transport in that particular neighbourhood. I guess we're also looking, as you're saying in your transport strategy, a move away from cars. And I guess that this is something that we do have to start those conversations.
I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's not going to happen overnight where people are going to move away from cars.
Yeah. Sarah?
Thank you. And actually my question follows on really nicely. You talk about the cycleway and the fears and the concerns of the businesses, and with actually a lot of people in that area not owning cars, do you think council's doing enough to encourage and enable cycle uptake in the area? So cycling is, the cheapest, apart from walking, form of transport for many of these people, and helping groups like iCycles and people get bikes and lights and helmets and things would probably help quite a lot in that area, and then probably help the businesses too. Would that help?
Well, iCycles is part of Te Whare, and it's doing, I think, a really important service. But yes, there's more that can be done, for sure, around that. And whether there's the ability to work in partnership. I mean, one of the difficulties is making sure we've got a good supply of good bikes, and that we can, able to do them up so they're in good working order. and that passing on, that part of recycling, their use.
Yeah, and I know because like many of the shops in the area, many of their customers don't own cars anyway.
No, they don't.
So actually being able to help with that
Yeah.
cycling uptake and getting people to those businesses would help.
Sure.
Yep. Well, look, that's really come to the end of the submission time, but one thing I will share with you is an approach that we adopted in Aranui a number of years ago, and that was to actually bring all of the community board, I was the local member of parliament at the time, there's a whole group of us, got everyone together, worked with the community, and we did our own inorganic collection, and we had an agreement through the community board with the city council for free dump fees in order to take all of the stuff. We took tons and tons. I almost broke my back, but it was really effective, and I think if it was done once a year it would make a real difference. And I would really recommend you reach out to the Student Volunteer Army, people like that. They're always looking for projects like that would actually enable a suburb to break the back of what is often years of backyard collections. As people change rentals, they leave the rubbish behind. So it would make a huge difference. So I just recommend that to you as an approach. And that way the council would contribute through the dumping fees.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.